The Winter of Woe Gauntlet is finally out, and I'm going to show you how I took the right path, which I wanted to start with mainly because the 7-star gate only required one 7-star, so that was better for my team. And I'm going to start by showing you my She-Hulk run versus this Absorbing Man from a couple months ago when the fight initially dropped. When I took it for the Gauntlet, I was messing up a little bit, and I just kind of revived my way through it. I think I did like 4 revives, and then everything else was a solo. But I'm just showing you this clip from earlier because of the fact that I just wasn't having a good time, and I just didn't feel like restarting the quest, so I just kind of revived my way through Absman. So not much to show about it, but in case you wanted to know how you're supposed to do the fight, well, here is how I did it. And you just kind of get him in the corner, you just bait his special ones, dash in, and then counter them with your heavy attack. The reason you want to dash in is because once you counter his special attack, you'll have him a lot closer to the wall than if you just kind of dex the whole time. Because when he's dashing at you at the end of his SP1, he can only go so far, whereas he has a lot more distance he can push himself when you're really far away. So it's a whole thing with distance in this game that you have to take into a lot of practice, and because of the fact that I play Tigra all the time, I know a lot about how distance works in this game, and it definitely helped me out here because I'm like, okay, if I dash in the SP1, I have enough time to where I can still counter it, and it just means that he is closer to the corner, so I can spam my heavies a lot easier. And that's just something that the more you play characters that kind of rely on distance, the more experience you get with this kind of thing. And for me, it was really helpful, so I'm just showing you this is how I did the fight. I know I got a lot of comments saying it's actually really hard to do the dash-in thing, and I get that. It is very difficult, but at the same time, you don't necessarily have to heavy spam him to death. You could also just counter the SP1 normally and then do a bunch of intercepts while trying to keep your slow active. I just found this to be easier just because I know how to distance myself properly, and that's just kind of how I went about doing the fight. So there's not that much to say. I got some really nice Fury RNG early in the fight, so it made it go really fast, and my Fury RNG when I was taking it in the actual Gauntlet wasn't like insane, so that's probably part of why I just was like, I'm gonna revive through it, because I don't really want to spend a lot of time until I get a really perfect run, and just get to the other fights. So there's not much to say about this Absman. He's only gonna last like another minute or so, and then we move on to the Nebula fight. But at this point, we're at 20 Furies, we've landed 123 hits. We're just keeping that slow up, keeping the regen under control with my SP2. I do have Science Powerbacks active, which do help a little bit, especially when you throw a special attack when you are dealing energy damage, because then you don't have to deal with his Uru Form resistances. And then you can like actually do some decent damage and gain some decent power back. Like you see, I throw the special attack there, and I gain like a third of a bar, which does help me cycle my SP2s a bit better. And if I can cycle SP2s a bit better, then that's more opportunity for me to keep his healing under control. So that's basically how I did this Absman fight. Not much else to say, and he's gonna die really fast. So 27 Furies and more heavies. Gonna go for an SP2 to push him to another bar of power. I only throw my SP2s when it's gonna push him to a bar, because if it doesn't, then you just kind of have to find a way to get into the rhythm again, because when you knock him down, you want him to throw a special immediately, but because of the fact that if you throw an SP2 and it knocks him down and he doesn't have a bar of power, well, that means you're probably gonna have to parry. That means you might have to find an intercept if he's in his form, so you don't have to take a lot of block damage, stuff like that. So anyway, that's how I did the Absman fight. Really easy if you get the hang of it, but if not, it's kind of a struggle, and I get that. It's not an easy fight at all, and it's honestly my least favorite fight of the entire quest, even with She-Hulk kind of cheesing it like that. Alright, so because of the fact that I need a 7-star for this Nebula fight, I'm using my Adam Warlock here, and I wanted to use Vox for this fight because he is really good for it, really fast for it, but I couldn't fit him on the team because of the fact I needed a 7-star, so I have to use Adam here, which is fine. He's gonna solo the fight. I do mess up a good bit some points in the fight just because I'm not necessarily the best Adam player, and I hate this champion with a passion. Like, I've made multiple videos expressing why I dislike this champion so much, but because I needed some Nebula counter, I was kind of forced to run him at that point, just because he makes the fight really easy if you know what you're doing. And Basically, you saw me trigger my pod at the beginning of the fight. That's just so I can get my energy protection early, and that means I can hit his block, or hit her block really early, and I want to do that just so I can start my cycle as fast as possible. So we throw the SB2, we completed one Sovereignty already, and at this point, I'm throwing my SB1. I should have thrown the Relic actually instead, but I throw the Relic there, and then I just want her to throw her special attacks, but sometimes she's not going to. That's one of the main reasons I don't like Adam, just because they don't do things correctly a lot. Like, I just have to throw my SB1 in the air because she's going to be passive. It is what it is, but again, I'm going to throw my SB1 in the air because she's just not doing anything. And here I'm like, oh, now I'm rooted, so that's fantastic. Which, I hate how that works, where even if you're in a special attack, you can get rooted like that, or the rooted timer starts to trigger. Whatever, I just kind of have to wait it out now, and I have to wait out the shock phase because I don't want to get shocked, obviously, so we're rooted again, and that's not fun, but we get out of the roots, just a couple more seconds, and then the shock phase is gone. I can start my re-ramp, and we throw the SB2, does a good bit of damage because of that Fury we got from our first Sovereignty, and now we are just kind of punching her. I don't really know what to say. It's just kind of a lot of big mediums, big light attacks. We're going to throw a really large SB2 right here, and yeah, so it is worth mentioning I do have a 30% boost on just to make this stuff go faster and easier. You don't necessarily have to boost, but I do kind of recommend it just because boosts are there for challenging content, so you might as well, you know. Okay, so I have 3 buffs now, and I don't want to get auto-blocked, so even though there's a good chance I don't get auto-blocked because of the amount of buffs I have, I'm still gonna kind of chill out until I get the unblockable back. Throw my SB2, do a good bit of damage. I don't really want to push her to her SB2 just because it's a lot more annoying to deal with, and we're just going to finish her with one combo. So, Adam solos Wintervo Nebula. I've seen like rank 3 Adams take her in like a minute, so my rank 1 took like 3 minutes, but that's fine. I'm not really speedrunning anything. Okay, next up is Kate Bishop for Hulkling. I've seen this fight done, and I don't think I'm doing it exactly the way I'm supposed to, but also I did a really good job with this fight, so I'm not gonna complain too much about it. But basically, you kind of just want to throw your SP2 into his block, and then you get some really large cold snaps, and from there, you're just kind of messing around, throw your specials in his block again, and once you get those initial cold snaps up from the SP2, it's pretty easy. I'm going to hit his block for power, and I need him to throw his SP2, but he's not really feeling like it, and eventually we get it out of him, but I was messing up the SP2 counter spacing as well. With every champion, it's different, and I shouldn't have dashed back on the last hit. I don't know why I did that, but I'm going to throw my SP2 into his block just to start placing cold snaps. And I shouldn't have thrown my heavy attack there because I thought the stun was like from Kate's kit. Because if it was from Kate's kit, it's a 3-second stun, but it was actually the stun from the node, so I got a little bit confused there. Because the stun from the node is only 1.5 seconds, if I remember correctly. But now I'm like, oh wait, that's not my stun, so I can't just throw a heavy attack after a medium. So that's fine. We're gonna counter a special attack here. Or no, we're not, actually. I was like, I'm gonna counter my special with his special with my heavy, but I didn't. That's okay, though. We're gonna push him in the corner, and then hopefully heavy counter this SP2, because then I can get the protection down, then I can deal some actual damage. And yeah, now I actually have the spacing right. I don't know why I was messing it up so much earlier, but we're doing 4K just from the cold snap every tick, so that's great. We throw another SP2 into the block right there. Never mind, I don't, because I'm just bad at the game, and I... Alright, now I need to re-ramp. I need another SP2. I need another SP2 to throw into his block. This fight can end in like 2 minutes if you just don't play it like I do. Basically, just throw the SP2 into the block, let the cold snaps tick, and then I finish the fight by using SB1s into the block after that. That's what you're going to see me do at the end. I'm just screwing it up early because I wasn't thinking right. But I'm pretty sure at this point in the fight I have everything under control. I'm going to throw my SP2 into the block, get the cold snaps. They're doing 64k per tick when he's doing a special, so that's pretty nice, you know. So much cold snap damage, it's not even fair. We throw my heavy attack there. I just want to get to an SP2, or I might just do SP1s at this point. No, I'm going to do SP1s later. The SP1s I'm just doing to waste some time and let the cold snaps tick. I wanted to throw that into the block, but I'm just bad at the game once again, so... at this point, I'm just need to get to my SP1, start throwing that into his block, and then not do it while he's indestructible. And is this what I'm going to do here? Yeah, I do. So, I probably should have gone to another SP2 because the cold snaps I placed from the last SP2 were not the gigafied ones because they were thrown into him and not into his block. So, yeah, don't do the fight like I am. I'm actually messing this up a lot, but it's really simple if you just don't brain fart like I was. Throw the SP2 into his block, and then once you do that, just throw some special ones into his block, and it's really easy. I'm just making it way harder than it needs to be. He's at 3% now. I just get to another SP1 and he kind of dies. This is honestly one of my favorite fights I've ever designed. It's a really good boss fight, and really easy for Kate, so that's cool. Throw the SP1, even if he couldn't block it because he had the crush, but yeah, he dies just like that, so. Alright, next up and last up is the Pig, and this is more or less the easiest fight in the entire Gauntlet if you have Kate on your team, because she just makes this a total joke. The only thing you want to do is throw your SP1 when he has the 1 icon on your side, and then just kind of do nothing if he doesn't. So you can throw SP2 if he has the 2 icon, you can throw SP3 if he has the 3 icon, but I wouldn't recommend that. I just kind of stick to SP1s only, and if it's not a 1, don't throw the special, or a special at all. And you can counter his specials kind of like that. There is sometimes where the spacing gets really close and you kind of have to feel it out, but you don't also have to heavy spam if you don't want to. The only other thing that's worth mentioning in this fight is that you don't want to hit his block, like, ever, because then he's going to purify a debuff from you, and that's not good, because he makes you take damage if you purify a debuff, so just don't do that, and then you're kind of chilling. So I could throw my SP1 there, but at this point I have both my cold snaps, so it's kind of just about not throwing a special for the rest of the fight and just kind of chilling the rest of the fight. And if you just get him into a loop where he throws his SP1 and you heavy counter and heavy counter and heavy counter, it's kind of just a joke at this point. Yeah, you just dash into his special, kind of like I was using She-Hulk versus Absorbing Man, and he can't really do anything. He just melts from the cold snap, and then he can't evade because of the cold snap. So there's not much to say except for the fact that he is just about going to die, and yeah. That is Winter of Woe for me. I did 3 objectives out of this. The only one I didn't do was the Use Without Science Champ, and I'll be using the Use Without Science Champ on the other side, because I'm only Paragon, so I don't have to worry about the Skill and Cosmic one until I actually get Valiant once 8.4 drops, so I'll be doing that later. But there's 3 objectives just like that, and I'm going to claim my rewards from the milestones. You can see me do that, and that's going to be all from me. You get 1 gold, you also get a point from that, you just don't see it. And I get my Deathless King Groot piece, and if you are wondering where Deathless King Groot is, if I remember correctly, he is going to drop in the store tomorrow, so you can pick him up then. I'm going to grab some T6CC, and I'm going to take Mystic out of that to rank 2 my 7-star Kushala. And yeah, that's going to be a really fun time. I can't wait to make some rank 2 Kushala content as soon as I get like the rank 4 materials for her. Yeah, so that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope it helped a lot, and I will see you in the next one.